ガオーガオー食べちゃう Hello everyone, bear with me. I need to use my headphones as a hairband to keep my bangs out of my face. So bear with me for a moment as I adjust it. Alright, hello River. Hello Celestia. Hello Geekson. Hello Nanashi. Hello everyone, how are you all doing? Apologize for hiatus. I guesstimate that's your 3/4 way there. No need to worry about taking a hiatus. I'm glad you're back. Why are you melting? Why the melting emoji? Is it hot where you are? We are rough. We're not quite. So like, if you think of it like terms of a dollar, right? You got 25, 50, 75, 100, right? We're not quite at 75. We're not quite at 75. So we're not quite 3/4 of the way there, but we're getting really, really close. We're getting really, really, really close. And I will talk about that in a minute. I'll talk about that in a minute. I'm not feeling too well today, actually, to be honest. I had a really rough night. Tommy, my cat, he woke me up at like 3 a.m. and I woke up in like with like my neck twisted in a weird position. Like I woke up on my stomach, and I don't sleep on my stomach. I sleep on my side. And I woke up on my stomach with my neck twisted. And I had a bad kink in my neck, and then 3 a.m., couldn't go back to sleep. About 4 a.m., I realized that I uploaded the wrong version of the opening. So at 4 a.m., I'm making a new thumbnail. I'm making a new version of the teaser for Twitter. And I re-uploaded everything, and then I had to email the voice actors and be like, hey, this is the right trailer. I'm sorry, I sent you the wrong trailer. Like an idiot. So I'm hoping now that the correct trailer version, I'm hoping that will pick up steam and it will gather donations and hype. So far I haven't had any new donations since the trailer dropped, but we're gonna watch the trailer today. We're gonna watch it today. So if you missed it, we're gonna watch it. Ohayo gozaimasu. Ohayo hachinichi. Oha. Genki. Genki. Atsuiko. It's hot in your workplace? Aw, I'm sorry. It was very stormy today, very rainy. Like I said, I was up at around 6 a.m. I went back to sleep. Slept for like an hour at 7, and then later on in the day, I had a nap for like maybe an hour, but that really helped. So I'm not like a zombie, you know. I'm not like half asleep. So I'm much better now. I do have like, you know, just like persistent symptoms, cramps and headaches and stuff like that. No fun. And also I need to get like supplies and stuff. I'll have to wait. Of course I had to realize that I'm out of supplies like after the week grocery shopping is done. So I'll have to wait until next week. Tornado Alley, what? Tornado? What? No tornado here at least. Oh my god, I hope you don't have a tornado over there. Stormy here too. I had my dentist regular checkup today. I originally wanted to walk, but it rained too much. Aw, well, I'm glad you got your dental checkup. That's always good. Congratulations on adulting. I had a doctor appointment today, but for some reason my Gmail account is not like giving me notifications, so I missed like 2 important emails I missed, and I never got the link I needed for the virtual doctor visit I was supposed to have today. So I rescheduled it. They let me reschedule it for Sunday so I can do that at least. But I just feel really bad that I missed the appointment. I was here, I was ready, I like put on nice clothes, and I was like freshly bathed and all that, but they never sent me the link. I missed the appointment. I think it has something to do with Gmail, like not sending me notifications. I don't know why. Not me and Jessica. Don't worry. We have no tornadoes around here. No tornadoes. Don't worry. It's just rainy, and kind of gloomy and overcast. Actually, I like the rain, and I like the gloom. I think it's because of the area I'm in. I'm told it rained a lot, but it's actually not too bad. It brightened up a bit, and now it's stormy again. But no tornadoes here. I think the worst I ever had was like earthquakes, and they weren't even like large earthquakes, you know? So don't worry. We don't have tornadoes, we don't have floods, we don't have like big natural disasters like that, so I'm fine. Don't worry, I'm fine. Don't worry. Let's see, aside from me, like, not feeling great, I did want to talk about the trailer! Local Otome game developer cannot stop yapping about her own game! I gotta talk about it. So I finally have the correct version of the trailer. It is out. It is on YouTube. It is like pinned on my channel. And it's on the brand account as well. It's on Blue Sky. It's on my own account. So you should all have checked it out or watched it. 自分の乙女ゲーオープニングムービー、ティーザームービーが出たよ。昨日はぜひ見てくださいね。お願いします。これは無料の同人ゲーなんだけど、頑張る。Good ambiance for a scary simulation game writing? Ooh, it would be, except I already finished the script. I haven't written for pleasure in a while, like for fun. The last thing I wrote, I think, was a commission. Like, not that I didn't enjoy it, but that was a while back. And then before that, I was just working on the script, which took quite a while. But I haven't really written anything new in a while. I will later. I have like some fan fictions in my backlog that I can finish, but I haven't yet. But anyway, back to the trailer. So the trailer is finally out. And that means the voice actors are finally announced! Wow! Bachi, bachi, bachi! The voice actors are finally announced! Let me pull up some pictures for you. Hold on, I need to pull this. I didn't like do my preparation before stream, so let me pull it up. Maybe you guys probably know who these people are, but just in case you do not, I'm gonna pull up some pictures of these voice actors, other roles. In case you don't know them, I'm gonna pull them up, so bear with me. Yeah, okay, that's good. That's good. So hold on, I just need one more pick, and then I'll stop. Okay, that's good. Yeah, that's fine. No, this is better. This is better. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you about the voice actor. So we have Mabel-chan. Mabel-chan's voice actor is Michaela Law, and you may know Michaela Law from Sucker for Love. She also voices Frankie, I believe the character's name is Frankie from Knights of Guinevere. Hello, Ajitsu. I'm just talking a little bit about the voice actors. I'm introducing them in case you don't know them. So Michaela Law stepped in, very fortunately, for Mabel. After Mabel's previous voice actor had to remove themselves for the project, Michaela stepped in, and she was super, super nice and super, super professional, and she's like really on the ball. We're almost done recording for like all of Mabel's lines. It's great. We've been able to get it done in like 2 to 3 weeks, probably 3 weeks, and it's really great. It's super cool. I'm so happy that I found Michaela. And so these are 2 of her roles. If you are not familiar with her work, I have never seen Knights of Guinevere. I will! I promise I will. I just want to be in like the right mood for it. I will. I want to. I really want to see it. It looks like very Evangelion-esque. I want to see it. I just haven't. I still want to watch Alien Stage as well. So like I have things on my backlog, which I never seem to tackle the things on my backlog, but I will. But anyway, Michaela Law, she's in Knights of Guinevere, and she's also in Sucker for Love. In the original, she plays Lynetta, the little Cthulhu lady here. So yeah, those are 2 of her roles. Nice for her to cut in short notice. Very kind of her. She's very sweet and wonderful and very, whoops, the host! That's not what I wanted to show you. Whoops, that's way too big. Hold on. Oh no. Hold on. Hold on. I'm gonna put it in VTube Studio instead. Oh no, did it crash? No, it didn't. Okay, good. Cool. Sorry, it was like a really big picture and I had to make it small. It looks like the host is decapitated. But Michaela stepped in. She's wonderful, very professional, a really great voice actress. And I strongly recommend her. And then we have Fuyuko. Fuyuko's voice actress is Hiragiyu. In case you don't know, Hiragiyu is a host VTuber. They are my Oshi. I love them. They're so cool and like super mature and like really, really nice sounding voice and so talented. They drew like their own model, I think. They do their own fan art and they also like sing. Like what can't they do? Like they VTube for like 6-hour sessions. It's crazy. I wish I had that kind of endurance. I can barely make it 2 hours without tapping out. But this is Hiragiyu. They are a host VTuber. They are non-binary. They go by they, he pronouns. I think they used to go by she. I don't know if they still go by she, but I know at the very least they go by they, he pronouns. And they are super cool. I love the host. I love Yukun. He's so hot. I mean, he's so professional and very kind, very patient with me. I've been dying to collaborate with Yukun for a really, really long time. For a super long time. And then I remember they said last year, they were saying they'd love to be in a video game. And I'm like, hey, I make video games. You want a voice act? Let's talk. And so I tapped them, I think, late last year I tapped them. Probably a while back, like in November or like even October or something. I was in contact about the game and I was like, hey, you know, I could, you know, I could write something for you. You know, what kind of thing do you like? So I kind of based the characters specifically around their voice and their delivery, and listening to Fuyuko's lines that Yukun gives, it's very good, very good. I even threw in some Japanese for Yukun because Yukun's Japanese is like native speaker level, and it's excellent. I don't know if that's Yukun's native language or not, but their Japanese is wonderful, excellent, it blows mine out of the water, absolutely. I feel like a total simpleton compared to Yukun. They're so talented, they're so kind, they're so patient. They have like the patience of a saint, honestly, they really do. And they're so kind, putting up with me, like sending them emails every week, like, here's the new sprites, here's the new background, here's the new script, you know. They're very, very kind to me, very patient. I strongly recommend you all check Yukun streams out. He is so cool. He is so cool. He's on YouTube and he's also on Twitch. Yeah, but mostly Twitch. So that's Yukun. I love them. They are my oshi. God, I love them. We're not gonna talk about Oleander's voice actor because they are going by a pseudonym for this game, but I've worked with them before. He's a very sweet guy. You know, it was very kind of him to work with the little old me, given like the caliber of his work. Oh yeah, I can put Yukun's Twitch. Yeah. Hold on, give me a moment. I can give you Yukun's Twitch. Yeah, hold on. I don't want the story. Hold on. Okay, yeah. Okay, here is Yukun's Twitch. And I think it's like the same on YouTube. If you just look Hiragiyu, you will find him. You'll find him on YouTube as well. You'll find them on YouTube. You'll find them on YouTube and you'll find them on Twitch. But that's Hiragiyu, and they are my oshi. They are the greatest. We do have like some things that are not in common. For example, I love Loli, he does not, but like, you know, he's very respectful and kind about it, which is really all you can ask for, you know? Yeah. You know, people can agree to disagree, you know, and not make it like some stupid moral thing, you know? But Yukun is great. I love them. They're very talented. Everybody should go check them out. They're so cool. Anyway, to make any of these VA connections in real life? No. Nope. I've never met any of these people in real life and never met any of these voice actors in real life. I don't know any of them in real life. I am friends with Oleander's voice actor, not in real life, but outside of work. And he is a really swell guy, but I can't really talk about his other work because, like I said, he's using a pseudonym due to the nature of the content of the game, you know. So I understand the need to be careful, yeah, and separate his work on this game versus his other work. But I've worked with him before, and he's a great guy. Okay, so we are now gonna watch the trailer, the correct version of the trailer, and I'm gonna I'll probably not be quiet I'm probably just gonna talk through it. So this is like your warning, okay? If you haven't seen it, go watch it now. Go watch it. Go retweet it, go reblog it, go watch it. Okay. Let me put myself in the corner here. And I don't know why. Chat keeps freezing for some reason. I don't know why. Okay, let me pull up the game itself. Okay. Not the game, but the trailer. Okay. Here we go. In this world, everyone enters a sexual reproductive cycle, regardless of sex or gender. Hatsujoki. There are wives, those who go into heat, and husbands, those who go into red. Unassigned people are called brides and grooms. At the age of 18, one of each is forcibly paired together, called a family. Their purpose is to marry, mate, and produce offspring. If they don't fulfill their obligations within 1 year, they are killed. Captured by the wedding veil, Kinda no Kubi wa! I'm a bride, but I don't want to be. I hate hearing myself!
Do you think love is something we can choose for
Michaela! She's so cool!
Do I owe you affection?
What?
What gave you the right to ambush me with ridiculous notes and unwanted gifts?
Oh my god, I love a sadist! Yukon! Oh my goodness.
Excuse me, miss.
The British
I was
accent!
looking for my sister. But surely an adorable, well-dressed young lady like yourself couldn't possibly be.
I love a British accent.
Hello, Ellie. Look at you. You've grown an inch or two.
What's the point in being your husband if I cannot spoil you rotten? Of course it hurts. I wanted to hurt. So you remember who your husband is.
Have you been assigned to a family yet? I'll be your husband.
Oh my god.
Excuse me? Melissa, little bride? You come to me in full heat, leaking pheromones everywhere, and you don't want me to finish?
Ryuko's crash out.
Ellie, if there's something on your chest, you can always tell me. Since when do we keep secrets from each other? After all, we're already a family.
Wonderful! Pachi. I'm not done. Back up. I have more to say. First off, I hate hearing my own voice. As you can tell, when I read this line, I'm not doing it in this voice. I'm bringing it lower, down, more closer to my natural voice. I don't want to be a bride, but, something lower, that's, how I normally sound. Not quite how I normally sound, but not like way up here in the register, not like way up here, I'm a bride, but... Yeah, I'm a bride, but I don't want to be a wife. Yeah. I don't want to be a wife.
Do you think love is something we can choose for ourselves?
I don't know! What do you think, Chad? Michaela is so generous with her time and her talent for being able to voice Mabel. I mean, she was so gung-ho. She was like, hell yeah! Like the characters looks great, the script looks great, the art looks great. She was super enthusiastic from the get-go. And within like 2 days, we had the contract signed, and within, we're 2 weeks in, and we're almost done recording. Super exciting. Now that I hear Michaela as Mabel, I can't imagine anybody else. I want there to be like 1 million Mabel fan art.
Do I owe you affection?
Wait, we gotta go back a sec. We gotta go back a minute. The chest, the flat chest, so hot. I'm sorry. I love flat-chested women. I'm sorry. I love the androgynous women. I'm sorry. The butch woman. It's so hot.
Do I owe you affection? affection.
I asked Yukun to be very mean. I was like, you are so mean, and you are so bitter, and you're so angry at the world. You know, I need you to be super bitter and angry. And Yukun delivered. I haven't like begun recording with Yukun properly. We're gonna stagger payments with Yukun. Because I don't have the money on hand right now, and they're super busy. They're not like ready to begin recording until like July at the earliest, something like that. But I am super stoked to begin with Yukun, because like I've admired them forever, and also I don't want anybody to get mixed up, okay? Fuyuko, the character, is a woman, okay? She's a cisgender woman, but nobody get it mixed up with Yukun. Yukun goes by he, they, so please don't be disrespectful towards them, okay? Alright.
What gave you the right to ambush me with ridiculous notes?
Oh yeah, yell at me more, it's so hot! And then, for this one, it was originally gonna be a plain American accent, but I thought, well, you know, I also really like British accent, and something that Japanese doesn't have is, like, British accents. Like, sure, they have, like, Osaka accents, and, like, you know, Tokyo accents, Kyoto accents, stuff like that, Kansai accents, but like, the British accent is so particular to the English language that I really wanted to include it.
Excuse me, miss. I was looking for my sister. But surely an adorable, well-dressed young lady like yourself couldn't possibly be. Hello, Ellie.
Blood
Look at you.
related.
You've grown an inch or two.
Blood related.
What's the point in being your husband if I cannot spoil you rotten?
So cute, so did, so like giggly and little girlish. I love this line reading. And then, of course, we have like the yandere moment with that deeper register, which is just so like, I want to say attractive, alluring. Like, it's meant to like put you on edge.
Of course it hurts. I wanted to hurt. So you remember who your husband is.
Masochists should be very happy with this game.
Have you been assigned to a family yet?
Oh no.
Your husband.
We have to listen to that one more time. It's so good. It's so, like, Fuyuko is like very bitter and angry and like miserable as a person, right? She's like a miserable person. However, Yukun makes her sound so seductive, for lack of better word. Like, very seductive, yeah. Like, sexually desirable, you know? Like, very, I don't know what the word is. I say attractive, but like, charming, maybe? Alluring, charismatic. Like, it helps that Yukun has that natural charisma themselves. So, it was really easy, I think, for them to carry it over to Fuyuko.
Have you been assigned to a family yet? I'll be your husband. Excuse me? Melissa.
The crash out! I thought it would be really funny to put the entire crash out in the trailer, so I did!
The little bride, you come to me in full heat, leaking pheromones everywhere, and you don't want me to finish?
Don't shame other people. You know, just because somebody, like, said yes doesn't mean they can't withdraw consent. Fuyuko is like, if you're into non-con, play Fuyuko's Raoul.
Ellie, if there's something on your chest, you can always tell me.
And then he sounds so earnest and so sweet, which is ironically not how I wrote him at all, but Oleander's voice actor really brings a lot of kindness and earnestness to the role, which I like. I didn't intend that when I was writing it.
Since when do we keep secrets from each other? After all, we're already a family.
Already a family. My favorite is constantly torn between Fuyuko and Mabel. I can't decide. You're thinking of the troupe Kudere? No, because she's not a Kudere. Hold on, let's go back to chat. She's not a Kudere. She doesn't like... I don't know why chat keeps freezing like this. So annoying. Why does this happen? Not a kudere, because kudere implies like cold and gradually warms up. Fuyuko doesn't do that. Fuyuko has like moments of tenderness, but they're pretty rare. And I hesitate to put her into this box of like kudere. I don't want to put her in that trope. If anything, I would call Fuyuko a yandere. Yeah? That's not a spoiler, okay? You should all know by now that everybody in this game is a yandere. Fuyuko struggles, you know. She struggles with depression, not clinical depression. I never like to like clinically diagnose my characters. You know, like with psychopathy or like sociopath or like, you know, clinical depression. I never like to diagnose them with anything. But Fuyuko does struggle with depression, even if it's not clinical depression. She does struggle with that, and she's really bitter and angry. And as you'll find out later, she gets violent. And, you know, she has her own prejudices. Which, you know, we can all acknowledge that characters can be flawed, so she definitely has her own prejudices, that I don't really think fit into, like, kudere. I think of Rei Ayanami when it comes to being cold, calculated, cool. Yeah, Fuyuko is not, she lacks that kind of coolness, you know? She can be cold, but she's not, like, emotionless, like Rei, you know? Definitely not. In fact, Fuyuko, she was supposed to be really charming and like very warm and princely at the beginning before I started writing, and then she ended up being very cold and bitter and cruel, you know, and sadistic and violent and all of these, you know, darker qualities, these maladaptive personality traits that she has. You know, that's just her really bad way of dealing with things in her life. Desperately trying to avoid spoilers. So she's not like, she doesn't have like that emotionlessness. She definitely has emotions. She lets her emotions get the better of her, like all the time, pretty much. She's hot or cold, pretty much. She's either, you know, having an outburst, or she's like secluding herself so she can get away from people. So I wouldn't call her a kudere, but, you know, we'll see, you know, when the game gets fully funded, wink, wink, when the game gets fully funded, and, you know, I'm hoping to make a demo, hopefully by the end of this year, then you can play for yourself and see what she's like. The demo would cover the first 2 chapters, and I think that gives you enough of a peek into Fuyuko's personality. You kind of see what she's about in those first 2 chapters. In the first chapter, you have like 1 interaction with her, and that's it. The second chapter, you have a pivotal scene with her, and that kind of sets the tone for the whole route with her. Like, you gotta be into like Kabedan and Sekuhara if you're into Fuyuko. If you're into Fuyuko, I sure hope you enjoy her sadistic qualities. Okay. Anyway, so that's the trailer. I think it's really great. Mada made the trailer. They worked really hard on it. It took a little longer than I would have liked, but I'm not complaining one bit. It is beautiful. It is gorgeous. I am so happy to have gotten it. I tried making my own trailer chat, and it was hot garbage. It was horrible. It was horrible. Absolutely horrible. No good. And then I saw Mada's, and it was beautiful and gorgeous and professional. And, you know, I'm so happy with what I got. And I really hope it drives a lot of hype. I hope it drives a lot of excitement. And I hope it elicits a lot of donations. You know, I want to get to 100%. You know? So, anyway, that aside, today I am playing Chrysanthemum. It is an indie Otome game for the Otome Game Celebration Festival, which is over, but I'm going to play it anyway. The art looks really nice. It looks very vintage and retro. The opening movie is really nice. And I don't know anything about it, like, at all. So we're going to dive in and we're going to play it and then see what it's about. Okay, let me put myself in the corner here. Too far out. Like that? That's good. That's good. Okay, let me refresh. Hi, Tommy. Hi, Tommy. Tommy-chan. Tommy's here. Tommy's here. Poor baby. He had like a sneezing fit earlier. I was really worried. Okay. Okay, let me pull up the actual game footage. You should be able to see it. No. Oh, too big. Too big. Kind of a weird aspect ratio, but okay. Alright, press any button. Wise to hire for trailer. Absolutely wise to hire for the trailer. Absolutely. Hope nothing serious? Yeah, I'm fine. I'm okay. Tommy! Yeah, Tommy's here. I don't know why he had a sneezing fit, but he's okay now. It was just a bad sneezing fit. Poor baby. But I think he has like a vet appointment coming up for like his generic shots. So if there's anything bugging me, I will mention it to the vet. Okay, Chrysanthemum, on the way to sweet dreams. I don't know anything about this, but I like the presentation. I think it's bilingual. It's in Russian or in English. I think that's what this is. And I was so confused when I opened it and I saw Russian. I was like, oh no, I don't know Russian. But it's in English now. Like, it's very, look, the art is very like early 2000s. Very like Figures of Happiness. An elusive yet so captivating fragrance of chrysanthemums fascinated me. I wanted to bury my face into the petals to better feel the herbal, slightly bitter aroma. Now this has a free demo on Steam, I know that. And I really like the opening. But it doesn't really seem to have much traction. Inhale. And it's as if all your worries vanish into it. You forget about who you are, leaving all your troubles and sorrows behind. I wish I could stay in the enchanting world forever. But time is relentless, just as relentless and merciless as life itself. Okay. G. I assume it's a girl. Assume she's a girl. I really like the floral background. I appreciate it. Zoya. She is a woman. For some reason, I read her as androgynous man. I don't know why. I've just been exposed to too many femboys. But I think she is the only female love interest, I believe. So obviously I'm gonna have to go for her. Zoya was looking curiously at the bouquet of chrysanthemums which I was holding in my hands. What a scent. Ooh, the background too I like. It's very like, it gives me that MIDI kind of vibe. I held out the bouquet. Zoya hesitated a bit before tucking a strand of hair behind her ear and carefully leaning in towards the flowers. In a flash, a smile spread across her lips. Yeah, nice one. Not too intense, it's quite pleasant. It's settled then, I'll get the chrysanthemums. Thanks for not running away. Zoya giggled. How could I leave you? Oh, we already have a hint of Yuri. How could I leave you? You would have stayed in here forever. That's for sure. What was that? I don't know what that was. How long have you been at the florist? For about an hour, right? That's a long time to be a florist. During that time, we wandered through shelves lined with roses and peonies. We looked at daisies and orchids. And we stood next to beautiful cacti with blue and purple spines. We went back and forth between bouquets of asters, cornflowers, sunflowers, and chamomiles. And I didn't like any. And then, as if by magic, they were there. Chrysanthemums of every kind. Big and small, red, white, and yellow, and filling the whole corner. How didn't we notice them sooner in such a tiny shop? It's only thanks to Zoya. I would have just simply passed them by. I thoughtfully turned the bouquet over in my hands, the snow-white petals whirling around like dancing ballerinas. Little bit of a spelling error there. I mean, I think maybe the English version could have another pass. Maybe just like another Another look with an editor, maybe. What color do you think Sensei would like? I have no idea. Zoya glanced back over the shelf. She always pretended to be deep in thought whenever she wanted to avoid talking or was too unsure to speak up. If this didn't involve Sensei, I wouldn't have been so indecisive, really. But when you're going to give a special bouquet to a special man on an ordinary day, everything changes. Can't think straight, your thoughts cloud your mind, leaving behind a thick mental fog. Zoya wasn't feeling... Oh. Ooh, there's a glossary. Okay. Zoya, G's best and only friend. She transferred schools halfway through last year. She's into quilling and is a member of the sewing club. She has an enchanting voice. She's improving her English so she can get into a prestigious university to study design. Copying others' voices. Zoya's nightmares. Lately, Zoya has been suffering from nightmares. She doesn't remember the exact events, but she knows that these dreams remind her of her past. She hadn't even discussed it with G. Zoya wasn't feeling well today either. She had faint circles under her eyes, a nervous smile, and was constantly fiddling with the sleeve of her dress. Should not have listened to her and let her tag along with me. I need to let Zoya get some sleep. I can sit next to her until she sleeps, so that the nightmares she's been having lately won't bother her anymore. Wait. I thought it said that she didn't tell her about the dreams. Or maybe just not the details. Oh well, it is what it is. That means I should hurry up and finish with the flowers. That's all I can do right now. I'll go ask the florist. I'm coming with you. There was a fierce, unwavering loyalty in her eyes, like a knight protecting her king with all she had. Well, I am her only friend after all. But Zoya is my only friend too. Sometimes I also just want to be next to her and not let her go anywhere. Who knows what dangers are out there? I tried to make other friends at school, but Zoya was the only one who truly became a friend. I guess it's because both of us transferred school halfway through last year, and everyone else in class had already split up into groups. Oh well, one loyal friend is better than a bunch of acquaintances who won't even let you copy their homework. Okay, let's go. I like the strings. I like the BGM. The florist was at the checkout speaking on her phone. Surprisingly, I couldn't understand a word. It was as if the florist's booming and stern voice was absorbed by a vacuum. All I could hear was sharp hissing sounds. Girl, are you okay? Oh, never mind. Seems that she is speaking her native language. I wonder if she's an islander or just calling her relatives at home. With her tan skin and dark hair braided in the style of locals, it's not so easy to tell. I looked over at Zoya. So, we're kind of having a mishmash of cultures here. We got Japanese, we have, I don't know, G and Zoya. I don't know what kind of names those are. Chinese, maybe? She kept glancing at the wall clock. Then, as if she felt my eyes on her, she turned and tapped her wrist with her index finger. Well, the school bell won't wait for us, so I'll have to interrupt her. We came closer. She was clearly anxious, so much so that she didn't even notice us. She kept going on and on into the phone, suddenly squeezing it so tightly it seemed as though she might crush it. What? Zoya gave me a nudge, and I instinctively put the bouquet on the table. Gyaru? I don't know who's a gyaru. I don't think anyone here is a gyaru. The florist's expression cleared. The woman fired off a couple more sharp remarks, hung up, and hastily smiled. How may I help you? Her face relaxed, and it was as if she turned back the clock by a decade. I cleared my throat. My heart was racing, as if I was getting ready for a long run. Sorry to bother you. I wanted to ask, could you please tell me which chrysanthemums are better to gift? Well, the woman glanced at the white chrysanthemums on the table. Oh no, what if I distracted her from an important conversation? And why did I bring the bouquet to the cashier if I'm not sure about the color? What if you're not allowed to touch things you're not gonna buy? You're overthinking it. You're overthinking it. My hands were sweating. Why are you so upset? It's a purchase at a store. Relax. It's not that big of a deal. I quietly wiped them on my skirt. I was about to apologize for taking the bouquet, but the woman broke into a smile again. It's not often that people pick chrysanthemums as a present. Her eyes gleamed with genuine curiosity. Dodged a bullet. Why's that? The florist let her hand glide gently across the flowers. The petals seemed to cling to her fingers, like they didn't want to let go. I'm gonna get a sip of water. Bear with me. There's a lot of symbolism in this flower. Some of it is quite conflicting. Yeah, I thought chrysanthemums were like for funerals. Right, hidden meanings. How could I forget about them? Could you tell us about them? Don't worry, Geek-san. I don't think she's a gyaru. Holding my breath, I stared intently at the woman. I don't know how much she loved her job, but judging from her charming voice, she could definitely have a passion for storytelling. Do you really want to know? I nodded enthusiastically. The florist smiled dreamily. All right, I'll tell you about the most famous ones. In some countries, chrysanthemums are a symbol of sorrow. People lay them on graves. In others, they symbolize friendship and strong bonds. And in Japan, chrysanthemums became a symbol of wealth, purity, and nobility. My favorite legend is the one about an evil dragon who wanted to steal the sun, but when he was carrying it, he burned his paws. Enraged, the dragon began to tear the sun to pieces. The section of it which fell to the earth became white chrysanthemums. That's why people give them, when they want to sincerely and honestly show their feelings. Quickly, the woman snapped out of it, as if remembering what she was doing. I quickly followed suit. Everything felt alive again. The smell of flowers filled the air, and everything shone brightly. Sorry, I got carried away. The color and the quantity depend on the occasion. Why do you want to purchase the bouquet? I smiled and confidently pulled a bunch of chrysanthemums towards me. The 7 bright buds, like solar sparks that had fallen to earth, swung mesmerizingly. It was fate that brought me to them. Thank you, but I've already made up my mind. Gonna give the white chrysanthemums. When I left the shop, it felt like a whole other world. The scent of flowers and lacquered wood disappeared. The warmth vanished, making way for a cool breeze. There was not a soul in sight, except for a single car which passed by. The bakery's sign swayed in the wind. When I came here last year, I thought the town was abandoned. The only scientists, military personnel, and doctors live here, and we were sent here as prisoners. What? Prisoners? But no. Oh, okay. But no, if you look closely, you'll see a group of kids with school bags. People laying out baked rolls or fruit they've collected. And Zoya, who was looking at me with great concern. Whoa, it's freezing today. Maybe we should stop by the dorm so you can change? Let's not waste any time. They said it'll get better by lunchtime. I'll warm up while walking anyway. Aren't you cold? Zoya shook her head. You could still see the worry in her eyes. I glimpsed at her hands, which she desperately tried to hide. Her usually pale fingers were bright red, as if she had just dipped them in a pot of boiling water. She's freezing herself, yet she's still worried about others. How can that be? You gotta hold hands! I wanted to go to Zoya, take her hands, and warm them up right away. No way. I still remember her reaction when I tried to hug her once. I was so happy after passing my exams, so I rushed to hug her. Ah! Zoya looked at me with such a frightened look, as if something horrible had happened. Aw. Since then, no matter how much I wanted to touch her, I had to hold myself back. Okay, so she has a fear of physical contact, it seems like. So I just sighed heavily and checked if the chrysanthemums were wrapped securely. All good. At least they were safe and sound. So, off to school? Wait! Huh? Zoya's face suddenly changed. She bit her lip and looked at me even more anxiously. Even the circles under her eyes started to look darker. My heart sank. Could it really be that the nightmares were just the tip of the iceberg? What happened? Zoya looked away, her hands gripping her skirt. Sorry for not telling you earlier. My brother is coming today. Noble! Zoya's cheerful and hyperactive twin brother. He loves to try out new things, go on adventures, and drag the others along. He loves swimming and is fascinated by the concept of death. He wants to explore every corner of the island. He's especially drawn to abandoned temples. Okay. It was as if a heavy burden was lifted from my shoulders. Where's the BGM? What happened? That's why she's so anxious. That's why she kept glancing at the clock, even though, unlike me, she was never in a hurry for classes. I wondered if her nightmares had anything to do with her brother's arrival. Did something happen between them in the past? Or is it just me making up stuff because Zoya's news had caught me off guard? And now she was looking at me with a guilty look, as though she was waiting to confess something. She looked so cute and innocent, I couldn't help but laugh. That's so cool! What time? Do you need any help? That's so emo. I mean, kinda. You're not angry I didn't tell you? It did sting a bit, but not because Zoya hadn't told me earlier. I'm used to people not trusting me with their secrets. Yeah, he's an urban explorer and he's into death. Besides, I didn't tell Zoya much about myself either. What upset me even more was that, due to this small misunderstanding, I could miss such an important event in my friend's life. But it's great Zoya decided to share the news with me after all. Buy me a chocolate and we're even. One single chocolate? We smiled at each other. So, I guess I'll have to buy 2 or maybe even 3 chocolates. We've got to go and pick 'em up by now. Smile faded from my face. I didn't have time to process what she said and smile reassuringly again, making Zoya sad. Sorry, I'll go by myself. It's just that we never go out of town, so I'm sorry. It's alright. I was lying this time. To welcome a newcomer to the island, you need to get to the pier by bus and then come back the same long way. We might make it back in time for school, but I won't be able to give him the flowers. She didn't tell Zoya I wanted to give the flowers to Sensei before the lessons. If I did, she would have never admitted that she needed help. Now I had a tough choice to make. My heart ached. When Zoya had a temperature, she never asked me for help, even when she had to rewrite her whole textbook. No, even after she had to rewrite her whole notebook after it fell in a puddle, she still didn't ask. After all, her life motto is, I can handle everything on my own. But now Zoya had asked for help. And besides, it would be our first time leaving the research town. You need to find the bus stop, catch the right bus, not get lost. How could I send her alone? And why does Zoya even have to pick her brother up? Everyone coming to Anomaly Island is accompanied. Ooh, anomalies! Humans who possess extraordinary abilities, first triggered by a huge emotional outburst. Freaking use of abilities can cause side effects and even drive anomalies mad, so they're mutants. Sometimes their powers can simply disappear. There are no clear theories yet as to why this happens. Stop, of course! Wait, isn't a guide supposed to mean noble? Nobel? Is it Nobel? A designated person who welcomes all the newcomers and brings them into the town. There is no permanent guide. They are chosen from any of the teachers or senior assistants who have free time. In rare cases, a close relative or friend of the newcomer may take on the role of guide. Zoya just sighed softly. I knew you'd ask. Yes, but Nobel arranged for me to pick him up. Wow, he's so brave and full of himself that he managed to break the status quo. There were no ways out, so I shut up. Zoya, on the contrary, spoke out confidently. We can leave the bouquet at the library. There are lots of other plants there, so no one will notice it. You can take it after school and give it to Sensei. It looks like she thinks I'm only worried about where to put the chrysanthemums. She's so kind, so sure I'll always help her and never betray her. But you really don't need to come with me. I won't get mad. I can handle it all myself. If I get lost, I'll call you. You're so sneaky, you know that? This time, her smile had a sly, fox-like edge to it. Me? Sneaky? Not one bit. But I really did drag it out too long. I even thought about going alone after all. I really don't know what's gotten into me. I wonder if I could wipe your memory? What? What? Okay, so we have like fruits baskets up in here in which you can erase somebody's memories. Fortunately, there's only one person around here who could do that. Indeed. So if you did decide to go to school, I wouldn't take any offense. Zoya repeated. This time, her voice sounded more confident. My thoughts were scattered like leaves in the wind. We're gonna go with Zoya, of course. Can I save? Is there a save option? A painful choice! Ooh, I like that. I like the sound of that. Well, of course we're gonna go with Zoya. Let me get a sip of water real quick. I don't care about Sensei, I care about Zoya. You can't leave your only friend when they're in trouble, especially if they are your only friend. I really hope the librarian doesn't spot our stowaway flowers. Zoya looked at me in disbelief. Why are you so surprised? Did you really think I would leave you? No, Fruits Basket is a manga that began in the early 90s. I want to say like 1993 or 1998, something like that. Maybe not the early 90s, but like pretty sure it started in 1998 or so. It's a manga series that got an anime adaptation in like 2003 or something, 2005. And then it had a second anime adaptation, a remake. I want to say maybe 8 years ago or something. However, I hate the ending. I hate the ending of Fruits Basket because I hate the one love interest who wins the girl. I hate him so much. But it's a really good series up until Volume 11. Everything after Volume 11 sucks because I hate the ending and I hate the love interest that the author decided to go with because she was too cowardly to commit to the Yuri ending. And it got a sequel. It got like a 4-volume manga sequel. It's a real classic. It's a real classic. It has a lot of controversial stuff like domestic abuse, incest, things like that. It's definitely an amazing and wonderful series, but I just hate that ending. I hate that ending. I can only read up to like halfway the first half, and then the second half, it really kind of goes downhill. Thank you. Zoya smiled so sincerely and gratefully, it was as if I had just promised to make her biggest wish come true. In case you don't know, my favorite Fruits Basket character is Akito and Yuki, and I hate Kyo. I hate Kyo so much. Anyway. Yeah, it should have had alternate endings. It really, really should have. Like, it was really obvious that the author couldn't decide which love interest for the heroine because there were like 4 different options for the love interest. Akito, Momiji, Yuki, or Kyo. And she went with the absolute worst one. Don't even get me started. But the manga's good. The anime is also good. The remake is quite good. I have a soft spot for the original anime, the early 2000s one. But I recommend the manga. But if you don't like Kyo, you're gonna hate the ending. Her smile is so precious, I trade the world to see it. Let's go. We quickly got to the checkpoint. I'm gonna take a minute here, water some flowers. We'll be right back. I really like the BGM though. Very peaceful. Okay, we'll be right back. I'll be right back. And I am back. So we're at the checkpoint. We're on an island with people with like special powers, and there's also like experiments, or like research, something like that. A stubby little security booth and a fence. That was all that separated us from the rest of the world. Megane made plushies peek. Me, I am back. Although, am I a maid? I don't know. Still, it felt like we were about to go up against a bunch of intimidating guards who would never let us leave. Why can't they leave? They would catch us and put us in underground cells to conduct experiments on us. You are way too casual about this. Oh no, it's secretly a dystopia. Hello, Dolcino. Thank you for welcoming me back. With the say-so frameless class. Yeah, so frameless you can't even see them. They would catch us and put us in underground cells to conduct experiments on us for the rest of our lives. Oh my god. Gee, hold out your hand. Everything's okay. Tommy did have a sneezing fit today, but he's very lovey-dovey, and, you know, he's how he usually is. He's sleeping a lot. He's an older kitty, so it can't be helped. He's okay, though. I could use another grocery run, but it'll have to wait until next week, because I just had groceries, but I'm already out of supplies. I didn't realize when I went grocery shopping I need to pick up some supplies. It'll have to wait till next week. Anyway, I looked away from the tall fence and faced toward Zoya. Turns out, the checkpoint guy had been standing next to her for a long time now. A grumpy man who guards the checkpoint at the town exit. He has the power to direct other anomalies. Detect other anomalies. Some say his ability works even 1,000 miles away. Thank you, Ajitsu. Thanks for welcoming me back. I'm really sorry. You could see the fatigue in his eyes. The guard sighed, as if he was coming to terms with something, and held out his hand. That's fine. Almost everyone reacts like this, looking around like scared rabbits. Oh, come on. You know perfectly well you're free to visit the island anytime. But not to leave. Of course we know, but when you've been locked up for such a long time, freedom feels like something forbidden, something wrong. It's our first time going out, so this feels strange. To avoid angering the guard further, I quickly extend my hand in response. It'll sting a little. What will sting a little? I wasn't done mentally preparing myself for the pain. What? When I felt the burning sensation, it was as if a swarm of wasps had stung all at once. What do you mean a little? That doesn't sound like just a little. That sounds like a lot. That sounds like a lot. Oh my god! I screamed! Zoya rushed to me, grabbing my other hand and caressing my palm. It'll be alright soon. Hang on, G. I bit my lip. When the guard did the same to Zoya, she didn't make a sound. How embarrassing. I'm sorry. What is this casual dystopia they all live in? They can't leave? They get experimented on? They get thrown into cells? What is this? This seems very dark. A shot? Like, I guess it's how they detect people? I guess it's how they detect people? Hey, Tom. I guess it's how they detect people, because he's just holding her hand, right? Gritting my teeth, I waited for the man to finish his job. It didn't compare them to wasp stings for no reason. It felt as if the checkpoint guard had released thousands of tiny insects under our skin, capable of tracking us, the anomalies. This is an awfully dark story. I didn't realize that this was a dark story. The trailer looked so innocent! Oh my god. If we don't return by the end of the day, the ironclad rule for anyone leaving the town, they will send a team to search for us. The rule is to return before nightfall. before nightfall is ironclad. If someone dares break it and stays longer on the island, a search party is formed. No one has ever escaped it. Any violation of the rule is followed by a punishment. It's usually community service at school or the research center. That doesn't sound so bad. That doesn't sound like such a bad punishment. Even if we were 1,000 miles away, the guard could track us down. I wonder how long it would work for. A day? A week? The pain from the sting was getting worse. I was on the verge of tears. No way. Crying is the last thing I'd do. I was so scared to be seen crying. Why are you scared to be seen crying? What is this? What is this dystopia? I was so scared to be seen crying, I managed to get a hold of myself. If only there were a way to avoid such a painful procedure. I remember some kids that snuck past the guards, climbing over the fence and disappearing for a couple days. Of course they were found. There was no escaping the island, and the search team were equipped to the fullest. The kids were hungry, tired, and crying, yet they still didn't avoid additional punishment. I think they were made to learn all the island rules by heart. They were also told a lot of stories about naughty boys and girls going deep into the forest and never returning. They gave the kids a lot of sweets and left them in peace. I haven't heard of any of rule breakers since. That's for the best. The rules were made for a reason. They try to make life on the island as safe as possible, so it's in our best interest to follow them. Yeah, this sounds like a dystopia, like a giant mass experiment. Will you make it for the start of class? His lips were pressed into a thin line, but a smirk lingered in his eyes. My thoughts grew quiet as I rubbed my hand. The pain dulled, but it was still there. We will. Zoya kept holding my hand, even stepping forward towards the guard, like a mother protecting her child. The man grunted and nodded. All right, but if they start looking for you, I won't cover for you. Oh, and good luck with welcoming the new boy. How does he know? I looked at Zoya. She stared at the guard with the same stunned expression as me. I have eyes and ears everywhere. Well, it was really not that much astonishing. Anyone from the scientist team could have told them about it. So they're basically like mutants. This is basically X-Men. Maybe even our school's principal, who is the co-founder of the Anomaly Research Project, could have informed them. Have a nice trip. Oh yeah! Nice trip! Sure! When he went back into his security booth, we both breathed a sigh of relief. If I hadn't been sick the whole summer vacation, I would have had plenty of time to explore the island and could have gotten used to going without feeling guilty. Why are you looking at me like that? No matter what I say right now, she would insist that everything's fine. Nothing, don't worry about it. Zoya looked at me skeptically, but didn't push me further. We should totally visit the island again. No waiting until the holidays. Maybe we could skip a lesson during the week or miss a medical examination over the weekend. I headed toward the bus stop, filled with determination. I'm gonna get a sip of water. I'm gonna say we just started this game and we already have 4 backgrounds. I appreciate the production value. Unfortunately, getting there wasn't... No, fortunately! What was I doing? What was I saying, unfortunately? Fortunately, getting there wasn't too hard. The road meandered a bit, making us climb uphill at times and ease downwards at others, so we didn't pick up too much speed. At least, the road didn't branch off anywhere. The bus stop seemed like a lone island in the middle of the backwoods. The road sign was covered in rust. The road itself wasn't in the best shape either. The asphalt was cracked like an eggshell, with the ruts and potholes scattered here and there. It's a good thing the bus wasn't there yet. The stop was so overgrown that drivers usually just passed right by. You have to look out for them and wave your arms, trying to catch their attention. pulled the phone out of my pocket. There was plenty of time. Zoya making me wake up earlier wasn't for nothing after all. By the way, where is Zoya, that sly fox? I look around to find Zoya patiently waiting for a bus. Straight posture, fingers intertwined, a faint half smile. She looked just like a princess waiting for her Prince Charming. Couldn't help but laugh. Zoya instantly gave me a curious look. What is it? I could look at you forever. She blushed. Her eyes darted back and forth. Good thing I chose to go with Zoya. If I'd gone to school, who knows what would have happened. What if I couldn't have given the bouquet to Sensei? Or I dropped the flowers on the way? Anything could have happened. But now, even if something does happen, I'm not alone, and Zoya's puzzled expression was so worth it. But my friend didn't know what to do with herself. Another gust of wind tousled her braids. Like satin ribbons, they went up into the air before gently floating back down. I wonder what color Nobel's hair is, and the ability, how did he acquire it? As I stood there idly, my thoughts began to pile up like a snowball. There was so much I wanted to ask, but I was too afraid to scare Zoya away. I can ask at least one question. When did Nobel get his abilities? Her smile stiffened as if set in stone. What? Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have asked. I was just wondering how soon did you find out everything? No need to apologize. You can always ask if you're curious about something. We found out about them very quickly. Perhaps too quickly. Oh no. What is that? What is that face? There was an engine sound in the distance. It looked like our bus is finally coming. Feeling braver, I decided to ask one more question. Did he tell you himself, or did someone tell you? He rarely shares anything himself, so I was told by others. Yup. First checkmark on the things that twins have in common list, done. I wanted to return to the first question as Zoya still hadn't answered, but the bus was already approaching. Clouds of exhaust smoke billowed up, like from some powerful steamboat. I was afraid they simply wouldn't notice us. Zoya and I waved our arms. For just a moment, I even forgot I was holding a bouquet, but I managed to catch it just in time and straighten the tangled ribbon. Eventually, the bus stopped. Port was written on a plate next to the windshield. It was the only sign in the island's local language that I had learned to read, and that was only because there was an English translation underneath. The doors flew open with a loud noise. We carefully entered, as though stepping into the lair of the beast. Despite our initial reservations, there was nothing remarkable about the bus, except for the beautiful amulets hanging above the driver's head, so we quickly settled down. I wiped my fogged-up glasses and pressed my face up against the window full of curiosity. Questions about Nobel can wait. Now it's time to enjoy the view. Like so many backgrounds, it's very impressive. Libertas Island lies far out at sea. Some say it looks like a giant whale flicking its long tail. Others argue the island closer resembles a crescent moon. Some even see it as an Ouroboros. They say that if you include the abandoned warehouse, it links the two halves of the island, closing the loop, and explaining where all the misfortunes come from plague-stricken villages to burnt temples. I think one of our teachers once told us that the last comparison was made up by tourists inspired by local legend. Speaking of tourists, thanks to the island's peculiar shape and its many folk stories, Libertas has attracted quite a bit of attention. But that didn't mean it was easy to get there. Due to the many towns and temples, forests and swamps, shaky ground, and harsh climate, an airport was never built. The railway also bypassed the island, unlike the neighboring peninsulas. That's why everyone arrived by ferry, although even that wasn't common. At times, a thick fog would curl around the island. It puzzled the ship captains, who started calling Libertas another Bermuda Triangle. So there were few tourists here, and the islanders lived off of the fishery and agriculture. Only a few skilled guides dared to give tours, many of which often ended in disaster. What? Our research town was only built 5 years ago and was created to study anomalies, people with extraordinary abilities. The town was founded 5 years ago to study the anomalies. Before, there was an abandoned village in its place, the residents of which had died from an incurable illness. Animals are not allowed because the anomalies could accidentally harm them. The town is hidden from the outside world. Very interesting lore. I like the lore building. I heard there used to be an abandoned village in its place, but the residents had died many years ago due to some incurable illness. There were always such towns and villages on Libertas, the very thought of which always gave me goosebumps. On the way, I had a good look at the plowed fields, the seashore, and the fishermen's boats. This is taking place in its own country, in its own fictional country, in the island of Libertas. Maybe Japanese inspired, because they call one character sensei. I even noticed a couple guys from our research town gorging on the apples hanging from the trees. The idea of skipping school one of these days seems more and more tempting. It was even colder on the pier. The wind seemed to take offense at us leaving the town, trying its hardest to punish us with every gust. I shivered. It took great effort to refrain from wrapping my arms around myself. If Zoya sees that I'm cold one more time, she'll definitely start looking for ways to warm me up and we'll miss everything. The ferry sailed majestically towards the shore. Everyone's attention turned toward the boat, which was humming and puffing out plumes of smoke like an old man smoking a pipe. It finally docked. People slowly began to come out. I immediately started scanning the crowd for dark hair, a cap, and a plaid shirt. That's how Zoya had described her brother. Nobel! Of course Zoya found him first. After all, there is something magical about the bond between twins. I followed her gaze. Nobel was standing by one of the ferry railings. Are they twins? They don't look anything alike. His smile was dazzling. He was clearly greeting only Zoya. A smile like that is reserved for only your nearest and dearest. But for a moment, it felt like Nobel was greeting me too. In the heat of the moment, I waved at him. Nobel waved back and moved closer to the railing. If he came any closer, even another step, he would fall into the sea. He's going to fall! Splash! The crowd at the gangway just wouldn't end. Jeez, just let Nobel get away from the damn railing already. Why is Zoya so calm? Can't she see that Nobel could easily fall into the water? I wanted to turn towards her, but I was frozen in place. Nobel was leaning lower and lower. I can't bear to watch. The smell of fish and the sea wafted up my nose. People were bustling around. The seagulls were screeching. Couldn't hear any screams. He didn't fall. Is he all right? Gee, is everything okay? Zoya looked at me with concern. I smiled and glanced at the ferry. Nobel was gone. Could he really have fallen? But then why would Zoya be so calm? Oh my god, what was wrong with me? Surely he couldn't have... Hello. Oh, sorry, wrong kind of voice. Hello, hello. A joyful and teasing voice broke my chain of thought. I looked up. Thank God he's okay. That is a weird assumption to leap to. How could I even think of something so absurd? Nice to meet you, Nobel. Likewise, princess. His warm, genuine smile made it feel as though the world had suddenly become much brighter. The cold was gone, replaced by the warmth of the sun. He gave me butterflies in my stomach. Don't you dare, girl! No, you're falling for, God, what's her name? Zoya! You're falling for Zoya! You're falling for Zoya, not her brother. Wait, princess? Ah! No! 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 None of that! None of that! No heterosexuality on my island! I only came to my senses when Nobel pressed his cold lips to the back of my head. He's a flirt! He's a flirt! There was a mischievous look in his eyes. It was intense. She's so mad. I immediately pulled my hand away and glanced at Zoya. She shook her head. I think I asked you to be more restrained. Why, I am the very picture of restraint. They don't look anything alike. Nobel shot me a cheeky wink. My confusion didn't seem to bother him at all. Nice to see you, sister. He spoke the last word with a hint of mockery. Zoya sighed, but there was nothing but true joy in her eyes. I'm still hung up. Why is she afraid to cry? Why did she think he would fall? That's just a weird conclusion to jump to. Yeah, he seems like a flirt. I don't like the playboy type. In fact, I hate it. They didn't hug or shake hands, yet looked at each other with a certain familial warmth. You're not gonna hug? What? I barely had time to soak in their long-awaited reunion before Nobel's attention swung back to me. Well, you even brought me flowers, thank you. Yeah! You have to give it to him, you can't take it away. You have to give it to him. You can't say, oh, it's not for you. You have to give it to him. He was already reaching for the bouquet before I could hide it behind my back. Ah, no! Sorry, but these are not for you. What a shame. It seems like they're meant for another lucky guy, huh? Where's my welcome gift then? Oh my god, the puppy eyes. Zoya gave him a stern glance. Nope, well, how about this? Ah! Oh my god, he is a playboy. He is a playboy! I don't like it. I don't like that type. Nobel leaned towards me, offering his cheek. He even closed his eyes in anticipation. Time seemed to slow down. I recoiled in horror! Oh my god. Girl, it's not that big of a deal. Relax! My glasses slid down my nose, and I made a great effort to push them back into place. And then... Ouch! What was that for? I stared at Zoya. She looked calm and composed, but her eyes were filled with righteous anger. Shall we leave you here? You'll find your way back, won't you? Nobel raised his hand in surrender. Okay, I'm sorry for being persistent, princess. This unusual nickname again, it sounds so strange. The name is G. I know, but princess suits you better. He's a flirt! Zoya rolled her eyes, and I couldn't help but giggle. It was the first time I'd seen her so annoyed. She reminded me of a tiny, angry hedgehog. Nobel chuckled as well. Apparently our reactions were a great source of amusement for him. And then my gaze landed on a large clock hanging from one of the dock pillars. The time! I quickly pulled out my slider phone from my pocket. My fears were confirmed. We were going to be late, and we still needed to swing by the library. We definitely won't make it for the first lesson, but we must hurry for the second one. Off we go? Whoa, he quickly figured things out. Observant guy. Yes, as soon as possible. We were silent for most of the walk back to the bus stop. It wasn't far, but we had to climb a steep hill. Luckily, Nobel had only brought a backpack with him. How did he manage to fit all of his clothes in there? So we had no troubles on the way. When we got to the bus stop, we were soaking wet. Nobel took off his cap and started fanning himself with it. Well, you got some hills here. Yep, sorta. Whew. Zoya stayed silent, preferring to catch her breath rather than waste it on small talk. Should have followed her example, but more words slipped out. Nobel had me hooked. And he clearly had no intention of letting me go. Princess, can I ask you something? Realizing I'd never out-stubborned someone so stubborn, I let out a heavy sigh, just like Zoya. It depends. What is your ability? Just straight to the point like that? He is straightforward for sure. Nobel? I feel like that's forbidden knowledge. Sooner or later, I'll figure it out anyway, during a medical checkup or just by seeing it for myself. What's there to hide? Besides, I've heard so much about how clever and beautiful G is. Obviously, I'd like to get to know her better. Nobel said my name on purpose, definitely trying to butter me up. I glanced at Zoya. She shook her head. Wow. No, I don't like him. I don't like him. Nobel immediately stepped in front of her and came closer. His multicolored green and brown eyes seemed to cast a spell on me, begging me to obey. He won't let me go that easily. I run fast. I shrugged, feeling awkward. My answer came out even more unimpressive than I imagined. I've met so many anomalies with cool abilities. Acute hearing, super strength. Some can even alter their voice, like Zoya, for instance. My greatest feat is sprinting as quick as a flash when need to be. The rest of the time, even running is a struggle. Endurance is my weakness. Well, at least maybe that would disappoint Nobel enough for him not to pay me so much attention. Although that hope quickly faded. Oh no! He was still looking at me like I was a treasure chest. How fast can you go? Almost at the speed of light, but I've only tried that in testing. In ordinary life, going as quick as a car is enough. How do you tell what to avoid crashing into? Intuition? Do your shoes and clothes wear out quickly? It depends on the speed. Usually just the sneakers that need replacing. What are the consequences? Shortness of breath, rapid pulse? What do they forecast in sense of wear and tear? Sorry, what do they forecast in case of wear and tear? Whoa, when did this turn into an interrogation? Zoya, help! As if hearing my pleas, my friend came forward. You told me you're dying to sleep. Why don't you lie down and get some sleep? That was before I met Princess. Now I'm wide awake. What is your ability? I blurted it out to regain control over the conversation. It was about time I did. Noble Air narrowed his eyes slyly. The bus is coming. She's so mad. I was about to protest that he was just dodging my question, but the bus appeared on the horizon before I could. It's not fair, but fine. I'll get every one of Nobel's secrets out. Seems like island life is getting more interesting. Gee, are you okay? Of course. When the bus pulled up, Zoya and I stepped aside to let Nobel go first. He bounded up the steps and then froze. What is it? I think I'm stuck. This life won't let me die. So possessive. You have the SD, the super deformed images. Nobel was indeed stuck, thanks to his oversized backpack, which is completely wedged between the bus doors. First, I expected Nobel to show off his ability, maybe shape-shifting or walking through walls, but no. He just bent his knees, flailed his arms, and giggled. Look, I'm flying! I glanced over at the baffled driver and a couple of passengers, their eyes wide and staring at Nobel. I couldn't help but burst out laughing. I wish I could see his face. He was stuck with his back facing us. Are you even planning to get out of here? Haven't decided yet. Are we running late? While Nobel and Zoya were talking, the driver slammed the door and came over. He was furious. Whatever he was saying, we couldn't understand at all. Maybe it was for the best. Before the driver went from words to actions, we had to do something. Nobel, take the backpack off. We'll push it. Nobel huffed irritably. It was easy for him. He wasn't the one staring down the driver's flaring nostrils and huge fists. Zoya turned around, saw the situation we were in, and with a straight face tugged on one of the backpack zippers. That's not fair! Don't tell me you're going for that pocket! The mysterious pocket in front of Nobel's backpack. What lies inside remains a mystery. It's the size of a 3-day hike of supplies. Yeah, it's like a hiking backpack. Zoya said nothing, calmly slipping her hand into the front of the backpack. I wonder what could be so secret that even Nobel got upset. Before I could get any closer, he freed himself from the straps, darted down, and grabbed the zipper. However, Zoya didn't remove her hand, leaving the zipper half open. Okay, I was wrong. Nobel grinned awkwardly, like a child who knew he'd done wrong, fluttering his eyelashes in a plea for forgiveness. Zoya gave him a long look and went on unzipping the backpack. Are you gonna take everything out? That would be harder to carry, though. Hey! Wow, looks like Nobel was really trying to stake his claim. During gym class, me and Zoya were always neck and neck. We could barely manage push-ups. We'd be out of breath after a couple of laps around the stadium and dying after a 1-minute plank. Couldn't even imagine her being so strong. Well, maybe just Nobel being weak. The driver, unlike me, wasn't impressed in the slightest. His face turned an angry crimson as he began moving toward the twins, clenching his fists. Guys. What? One word from me was enough to distract Zoya. Nobel, not expecting her to loosen her grip, yanked the zipper violently, sending himself flying. With nothing to grab onto and being already distracted by the driver, his flight resulted in an unexpected meeting with the local asphalt. Me and Zoya froze. Even the driver stopped in his tracks, speaking in a now calmer manner. Well, yeah, soft landing. He chuckled and got to his feet, brushing off his pants. Nobel got up, and I nervously fiddled with the ends of my glasses. His palms were bleeding and covered in dust. Close the pocket, will ya? Remarkable. Despite falling a meter and badly scraping his hands, leaving them covered in blood, he didn't seem to be in any pain. Another similarity with Zoya. I remember once how she had trapped her whole hand in a door. Oh my god! She looked at her injured hand with a little concern, as if she had just gotten a splinter. And then with an unsettling calmness, she just headed off to the nurse's office. Maybe she has like that disorder where you can't feel pain. While I was reminiscing over the past, Zoya actually yanked the zipper back. Then she and the driver shoved the backpack inside. The man exhaled, muttered something softer this time, and headed back to his seat. Kept glancing at Nobel's scraped hands. What should we do that could get infected? Unlike me, Zoya remained calm. She meticulously examined the wound, like how she would if she wasn't satisfied with the color combination of an outfit. Antiseptic cream? In the back pocket. Do you have any cotton pads or wipes? In the front pocket. Great, he's very prepared. Come on, G, before this weirdo does something else. We got on the bus. Zoya calmly dabbed Nobel's palm with a cotton pad. I watched her spellbound. Once when I hurt my knee, she treated my scrape in the same calm way. Even though Zoya appeared so delicate and soft, she was incredibly mild and composed, handy during an emergency. Nobel thanked her and immediately fell asleep. For a moment, I felt disappointed. I thought he would keep us entertained with stories the whole way. I would have seized the opportunity to find out about his ability. Well, this was even better. Finally, I could relax and enjoy the ride. After wedging Nobel's bulky backpack by his feet, so neither of them would fall, we climbed under the back seats. As per usual, Zoya pulled out her MP3 player and gave me one of her earphones. A few moments later, a gentle, soothing melody floated into my ears. I sank quickly into the enchanting sounds of the flute and the guitar. The accordion and the quiet beat of the drum carried my thoughts far away. But the heart of the song were the vocals. A woman's timbre enveloped the entire melody, filling it with depth, like a siren luring the sailors in. It drew me in again and again. And then, as if it were echoing it, another voice joined in. At first, it sounded out of place and alien, as if it were trying to break the idyllic moment. But then, as Zoya hummed along, her voice seemed to blend with the woman's voice, seamlessly becoming one. It's cool to have such a simple ability, the power to copy others' voices. All I can do is dash fast over short distances, but Zoya's singing, it flowed so effortlessly that it completely captivated me. Her throat does hurt sometimes if she sings for too long, but that's a small price to pay for such a gift. Besides, the pain quickly subsides. Zoya is such an amazing person. I'm so glad I managed to talk with her, share my lunch with her, and suggest partnering up together for our first lab project. Even though my heart belongs to Sensei, Sure. Without Zoya, my life would be painted in completely different colors. What is it? She noticed me staring at her, awkward. I shook my head and closed my eyes, resting my head against her shoulder. Faint scent of chrysanthemum still lingered in the air. Thank you. For what? It is me who should be thanking you. Thank you, G. Thank you so much. Then do me a favor and sleep. We'll miss the stop. I opened my eyes wide. We won't. I'll keep watch. Zoya gave me a doubtful look. Then, as if giving in, she leaned her head towards the window, ready to doze off. Here, you can rest your head on my shoulder. Hey, Pumpkin, you made it! It's fine. We only played a little bit. We're playing like a sci-fi sort of dystopia Otome game called Chrysanthemum. How are you doing? I shrugged my shoulder in invitation. She froze. Her eyes seemed to ask, really? Is it okay? Yuri! We have our first Yuri CG. I'm gonna save. Zoya smiled with gratitude and carefully nestled against my shoulder. Her eyes fluttered shut. Sweet dreams, Zoya. No nightmares. None. She muttered as sleep finally claimed her. Okay. Well, thanks for stopping by, Geek-san. Have a nice evening. What floor? Second, classroom 223. Turn right, right. No, well, that's left, damn it. Should have just said it was your right. And who asked you to run backwards? My heart was thumping in my chest because of all this running. We didn't miss our stop, but we had lost plenty of time. Waking Nobel up was like trying to pull a drowning man out of a swamp. Zoya insisted on bringing the chrysanthemums to the library. Nobel and I sprinted down the hallway. Guess who kept skidding around the corners thanks to their gigantic backpack? I'm still surprised the security guard even let him in with that thing. Maybe Nobel really is charming. Or maybe it was just us sprinting like we were running from an avalanche. Here it is! Straight ahead, slow down! That was easier said than done. The inertia flung Nobel straight into the wall, bringing him to an abrupt stop. My phone buzzed. Mission completed. Zoya's coming back. Great! Operation Seduce Sensei begins. I blushed. How do you... Now I'm sure. Thanks for your honesty, Princess. Can he read minds? Maybe. Let's get to class. As we were about to enter, a tall girl blocked our way. Arrogant and meticulous, she dreams of becoming a new class rep. She's also in love with Sensei. Her real name is Thalicia, but she stubbornly calls her by her former title. Sleek hair pulled back into a high ponytail. Her suit was immaculate. Strict gaze, she looked like a younger version of a meticulous teacher. Of all the classmates we could have run into, why did it have to be the former vice class rep? The girl scanned us from head to toe before sighing in disapproval. Former vice class rep. Skipping classes on the very first day and being late too. Your head's all over the place. Jiggins? And you are? I'm new here. As you can see, Lady Jiggins had a legit excuse for being absent. The former vice rep huffed. Hello, Ezekiel. Hello. We are playing Chrysanthemum. I don't recall her being related to you, and why would she greet you anyway? Isn't that the guide's job? I knew she would ask. Even I asked Zoya the same question. Nobel tightened his grip on the backpack straps. I wished he would just drop the hefty bag on her head. However, Nobel just smiled. It is, but it's always nice when you're welcomed by someone close, don't you think? The former vice rep looked at me and chuckled. Very close, I see. Totally. You could keep this bickering going on forever. She must have realized there was no winning against Nobel, so she rolled her eyes. Go in then. Once the girl was out of sight, I shot Nobel an accusatory look. Did I need to argue with her, princess? But then we probably wouldn't have made it to class, right? Nobel gave me a warm smile, and I snapped back out of it. You're right. I know. Nobel giggled, opening the door. Ladies first. As we walked inside, I finally realized how I felt about this mischievous boy. Nobel was like a refreshing breeze, the kind which can lift the tension in a room and make everyone feel lighter. Shook my head and played along with Nobel, confidently striding past him. Judging by his approving chuckle, he liked that. Okay. Chapter 2, maybe? I'm gonna save. Time to find our seats. Since the lab work was already in full swing, Nobel and Zoya took a seat at the back desk, while I slipped into the one in front of them. Sensei allowed us to conduct experiments in groups of 2 to 4, so we decided to work through the tasks together. While the teacher was away, we managed to write down the lab template into our notebooks, equipment, experiment, formulas, and other funny stuff. Well, by the time I finished, Zoya and Nobel were still struggling with the formulas. Gonna get a sip of water. With nothing else to occupy my time with, I started reading the textbook to understand how to trigger different chemical reactions. But I found it hard to concentrate. Distracted, I noticed myself and some of the students glancing over the gigantic backpack we had propped against the far wall. Stuck out like a sore thumb among the shelves of potted flowers. Much like Nobel himself, he still hadn't taken off his cap despite the vice rep's demands. I wanted to watch a bit longer as she slowly lost her patience trying to reason with him, but then the door opened. My heart skipped a beat. Oh, that's Sensei. He's fine, I guess. I don't like it if you're playing a dating sim. If you're playing a visual novel and the character's already in love with someone, I don't like that. Our chemistry teacher and G's homeroom teacher. He's perfect in every way, gentle, handsome, attentive, responsible, and always ready to help. He's from Japan, so his nickname Sensei quickly stuck. He is not married and nothing is known about his relatives. The voices of my classmates abruptly fall silent, as if a conductor had suddenly raised his hand and ordered the choir of voices in the classroom to stop. Everyone simultaneously turned to look at the slender, tall man entering the classroom. No, not entering. Gliding with the pose of a dancer. Sensei thoroughly scanned the room, as if he wanted to etch into each of us his memory. In those deep, dark eyes lingered an ancient wisdom. Fine aristocratic features, a gentle smile full of kindness and warmth, immaculate clothing. Everything about him was flawless. It's as if the gods had sculpted Sensei themselves. As if listening to the heavens, we never called him by his real name. It had been this way for a long time. The first students who discovered he came from Japan addressed him only as Sensei. Eventually, the nickname grew so natural, even the other teachers started using it. Sensei had been led to classes only twice. The first was when a girl had a nosebleed upon seeing him, and no, it wasn't me. And he took her to the nurse's office. The second was when the principal summoned Sensei. What's the reason this time? Sorry for being late. I love, the early 2000s vibe of this art. The broad shoulders, the pointy chin. It's very early 2000s. You're at work, but you're closing up early? Okay, good luck closing up and drive safely on the way home. As he spoke, my mind went completely blank. His voice was like a majestic ocean, a deep thunder, a soft velvet. It was enveloping, captivating, enchanting, and consuming. How I longed to melt into those sweet dreams and never rise again. Nobel, I see you made it here safely. Hello, Sensei. Nobel's voice pierced through the soft haze. I blinked hard, trying to drag myself from my foggy daydreams back into reality. So you decided to come straight to class? That's commendable. Sensei was still breathtakingly handsome, but now I needed to concentrate on the lesson. To fully come to my senses, I cleaned my glasses and put them back on. Sensei called Nobel to the board to introduce himself to the class. Well, I could spend the whole lesson talking about myself, but my time is valuable, and I'm not sure the school could afford it. I don't like him. A ripple of laughter ran through the class. Even Sensei smiled. I'll be frank, name is Nobel. My strongest trait is sleeping with my eyes open. As for my weaknesses, there are too many to count, so best not to worry about them. Hope to find fellow horror fans to watch movies together and go to abandoned temples. I hear there are a lot of them on the island. And if someone's willing to share their homework for chips or soda, we'll definitely get along. Yes. Does anyone have a phone charger? I'll get one. Thank you, Nobel. The class clapped politely. Some were smiling genuinely, whether out of Sensei's approval or because they really enjoyed Nobel's performance. My ears burned with embarrassment. How could he say all that? Nobel, it seems, didn't care. With a roguish smile, he gave a theatrical bow and made his way back to his seat. The boy beside him handed over a phone charger. Gee, Zoya, I'm glad you made it in time for my lesson. I instantly forgot about Nobel. I wanted to exclaim, we'd come to your class no matter what, Sensei, or we would have never skipped it, but I just smiled and fixed my glasses, though they hadn't even slipped this time. Our lab task is quite simple, but you should be careful not to get confused. What? 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 No. No, that can't, what? What kind of shower are we talking about? What? Since you have only one lesson, oh my god, it would be enough to conduct an experiment called a golden shower. A soft chuckle could be heard from behind. Patience! I need to be patient. Sensei explained how to work with the chemicals and then took his seat and started filling out something in the grade book. We went to get the flasks. Judging by the look on Nobel's face, I knew the fun was only just starting. I was planning to keep an eye on him so that he wouldn't blow things up or set the class on fire, but when we reached the chemicals, the thought completely slipped my mind. So what do we need? Lead nitrate, potassium iodide, and acetic acid. There weren't many elements in the reaction to mess it up, and the experiment should look beautiful. I've already seen it in the pictures. We can definitely handle... Nobel, put the iodine back, please. Yeah, you should need it for your hands, right? Don't we need it? We need iodine, potassium iodine. I've already got it. What about the lead? I already have lead nitrate. And before you ask, I've got the acetic acid already. What do I carry then? Nobel looked like a pouty child who had begged to help out in the garden, only to be handed a bucket and a spade and told to go play in the sandbox. I giggled and pointed Nobel to the flasks. You get the most important mission. You won't break them, right? Can't promise anything. Shouldn't have asked. Fortunately, we made it back safely. I immediately poured the potassium iodide into the flask and added the lead nitrate into the beaker. I need to keep in mind that it's quite toxic, so I've got to be careful with it. Nobel and Joya watched me obediently. Now, we add the acetic acid to the lead, correct? I nodded. Nobel, go boil the water. Can you handle that? Please, 250 milliliters, right? Wow, I thought he hadn't listened to Sensei after hearing the words golden shower. Maybe he called the potassium iodide iodine for fun? Give him a reason to joke and he'll drive the whole world crazy. Good memory. Nobel let out a smug chuckle and eagerly lit the alcohol burner. Then pour 175 milliliters into the beaker, the rest in the flask. As you command, princess. It was my turn to smile. Once the water had boiled, we thoroughly stirred the solutions. Only the final step remained, adding lead nitrate to the potassium iodide. Whoa. In an instant, the water had turned yellow. As if enchanted, golden particles floated up from the bottom. It's as if we were stirring golden sand or shaking a crystal bowl from which tiny snowflakes were falling. It was mesmerizing. Oh, stop calling it that. A golden shower indeed. Nobel chuckled, clearing the leftover lead nitrate from the burner. Just as I thought, he had poured a lot more boiled water than needed, so he ended up with too much solution. He does know how to mess everything up. What is it, princess? I snapped. What's so funny? You really can't tell? Gee, just ignore him. Okay. I'm sorry for not being serious. But you've thought of the same things I did, haven't you? What were you thinking about? Nobel smiled cunningly. Should I say it out loud? Say it out loud! Judging by his look, he meant it. No, arguing with him is pointless. Okay, never mind. Do you know that, G? Oh my god. It all happened in a flash. I abruptly reached out for Nobel. The burner thankfully had already gone out, so I didn't burn my hand. However, Nobel jolted suddenly, spilling the last of the nitrate across the table! Zoya and Nobel managed to jump back, but I wasn't fast enough. Drops splattered onto my hand. Gee! My heart thrashed in my chest. I stared in terror as my skin began to hiss. Oh my god, suddenly an arm wrapped softly around my shoulders. Its warmth and tenderness nearly brought me to tears. You need to rinse your hand. Come on. Zoya, Nobel, put on gloves and clean the table. As if under a spell, I followed Sensei to the sink. I let him take my hand and put it under the running water. Skin was even more delicate than I'd imagined. It's so nice! I clung to that thought and slowly came to my senses. If it weren't Sensei's lesson, nothing like this would have ever happened. I let my nerves get the better of me, and I paid the price for it. So what if Nobel likes to joke around? Why'd we act like that? I dragged him and Zoya into this as well. They could have been hurt too. Yes, I need to grow up. How else could I ever become anything like Sensei? Adults are reserved. They consider their decisions carefully and would pay little attention to someone's empty talk. You would hope. And me, what did I? My eyes stung with tears. I'm sorry, Sensei. It's alright, G. Everything's fine. What matters is that you're okay. But maybe you should stop by the nurse's office, just in case. No, just a tiny bit splashed on me and it doesn't hurt anymore. That was the plain truth. To Sensei, I simply couldn't lie. I could downplay the scale of it, maybe. Zoya and Nobel came to the sink to rinse out the rags. Gee, are you okay? It's alright, don't worry. Zoya sighed with relief and looked at Sensei gratefully. Nobel for the first time looked serious, gloomy even, as if he had just lived through a catastrophe. Sorry. Forget it. It was my fault. Here's the long-awaited truce. Now, try another experiment, but this time without the quarreling. Okay. We're coming up at 2 hours. I'm gonna save here. I want to see if I can watch the opening. So I'm gonna go back. Main menu. Want to see if there is. That's Nobel, Sensei, Zoya, other. I want to see if there's a way for me to watch the opening. Maybe not. I thought there was a way to watch the opening. Let me try something real quick. See if I can fast forward a bit. I'm gonna fast forward a bit and see if there's a way to watch the opening. No, it looks like there isn't. Oh heck. I would have hoped there was a way to watch the opening. Oh well. Alright, we will finish that another time. Okay, everyone. Well, I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed yourself. And I hope you liked the trailer. I'm so excited for it. I'm so happy it's out. The only thing I really wish is that it drums up more activity and more support and brings more attention to the project. So I want to thank everyone for stopping by. Thank you, Pumpkin. Thank you, Nanashi. Thank you, Dolcino, Eskel, Geek-san, Hachinichi, Ijitsu, Celestia, River. I think that's everybody. I think that's everyone. It is a very interesting game. The opening is so good, but well, let me see if I can pull up the opening. Hold on. I really want to share the opening with you. The opening is really good. Okay, I found the opening. Can I make it bigger? Yes, I can. Okay, I'm gonna share with you the opening real quick. I'm gonna share the opening with you and then I'll call it a day because the opening is really good. All right. Ah, what happened? Hold on. Wait a minute. Like that. Okay.
Smile and fly to you like a crazy arrow on the clouds, and my love will blossom stronger.
I love the song.
That I hold in my hands, and I am gonna hold it out to you, closing my eyes, and now and always I look only at you, so don't look away. Love should warm us. I am composing this song because I love you.
Cult?
I repeat these words again.
This is such a cute opening. I love this opening. Really nice vocals, really cute lyrics. Like, this is such a beautiful little opening. Wait, what? What? What is this? What is that? I thought this was over. What? What is that? Is that an egg? Whoa! What? Ooh. Spooky! Cool. Okay, hold on. Get rid of that. Okay. What a cute... Wait, I'm still stuck. What a cute opening. It's a really interesting game. I want to revisit it. It is really, really interesting. I like the lore. There is a lot of budget behind this. I can tell. With the backgrounds, with the sprites, with the vocal opening song. That's a lot of money poured into this game. If you are interested, you can play Chrysanthemum, the demo, on Steam. I really like it. I'm interested in it. Too bad there's only one Yuri route. But if you're interested in it, I recommend playing it. Okay. That's all I got for today. Please don't forget to support my game as well. The crowdfund is still going on. We are at 72%. And I would really like to get to 80% or even 90% before June. So please consider it. And that's all I got for today. Okay. I will see you on Saturday. We're gonna be playing Day Everything. That's all I got. And I will see you on Saturday. Bye bye!